The cover page of One Piece chapter 1139, titled Mountain Eater, features Who's Who unsheathing Shimotsuki's sword following the capture of two horned rebels. Seeing as they're silhouetted here, there are only two of them, and Yamato is a powerhouse, this seems to be some sort of trick. Luffy and the others spent a good while searching for the key that'll free Loki, but to no avail. The place is huge, and the sun is close to setting. Not even the guards know where the key might be. Road assumes that the only ones who might know are Ja Rule and the other elders. Luffy wondered if the old man with the sword in his head would actually tell him where it is. But that is more than unlikely, since helping Loki escape would be a very serious crime. Zoro still isn't totally convinced that freeing the guy is a good idea in the first place, which Luffy mostly just laughed off. But that's when Nami called them over to see something. Noticing the red carpet, Road realized that this noble signifier must lead to the throne room. He was hesitant to enter, but was shocked by how decrepit the place is. The signs of a recent battle were obvious, and there's a hole in the ceiling. Road was the first to notice the strange marking on the ground. He raised the others to give them a better look. To Road, it looks a whole lot like a magic circle he once saw in a book, a ritual from some other countries that's used to summon demons. Which is what we saw those cultists doing right before the time skip before Brook showed up. Road was shaking a bit, but isn't sure if this thing actually does what it's supposed to do. Nami wondered why such a thing would ever be in the throne room. Meanwhile, Luffy was racking his two brain cells to figure out where he's seen this before. Just then, an unfamiliar voice called out to them. That made Road begin to panic and question if it might be the voice of a demon. A nervous Nami tried to dissuade him, but Road was clearly scared out of his wits. The stranger claimed to have always wanted to meet him. That only increased Road's fear, as he claimed that the castle must be cursed. He insisted that they run before they end up being possessed, which makes me wonder if possession is commonly associated with demons in this world. And I guess when it comes to devil fruits, that is definitely the case. The stranger urged them not to run away by hurling a massive axe. Road was scared so badly that he ended up tossing the straw hats into the air. Nami was frantic, but thankfully they were able to land safely, with Zoro catching her in a way that would have had Sanji ready to fight. That's when Luffy noticed someone on the throne, or at least on the armrest of the throne. At the same time, Road was trying to apologize to an enraged Nami. Road recognized the old man to be a human resident of Elbaph known as Ya, who happens to be a former pirate. The old man claimed to have sensed some strange haki coming from the castle, but by the time he showed up, he found them instead. He's heard plenty of rumors about Luffy. He spoke of how the pirate managed to defeat Kaido, and how long it's been since he's traveled to Wano, and how he longs to go back. Road introduced Ya to them as the man who married Ripley. Hearing that, Luffy recognized that this must be the little big guy's father. Hearing that made Ya laugh as he confirmed it. He was happy to know that Luffy's already met his family. Ya admitted that thanks to his son's strong giant blood, he's always been too big for him to carry. And as it turns out, by human standards, Colin isn't a kid at all. He's 20 years old, which is to say that he's even older than Luffy. With that, I totally understand why Luffy didn't hold back when that grown man tried to swing on him. Meanwhile, his mom Ripley is 80 years old, so she's older than her elderly husband. Ya complained about how he's the only one aging in the relationship. Nami had never heard of something like it before. Ya leapt all the way in front of them while proclaiming that love is boundless, along with the fact that across history, several mixed blood races have exist. Buccaneers like Kuma, Wotans, which are half giant, half fishmen like Big Pan, as well as the folks with long limbs, and an unfamiliar race called Dosandaras. There's actually a fishman by the name of Dosun who was a part of Hody Jones's crew. Dosun is a Japanese onomatopoeia for a heavy thud, so maybe they were or are connected to drums, which in turn may be connected to Nika by way of the Drums of Liberation. Hell, maybe they were the original inhabitants of Drum Island. Ya continued to say that typically, hybrid races struggle to stay alive, but there are always those who know how to adapt in every era. Zoro recognized that the old man must be well informed, but questioned who exactly he is. In response, the geezer proudly claimed to be the missionary of love, which made Luffy laugh since he expects Sanji to be like this when he's an old man, which is more accurate than he realizes. Luffy told the guy that he's looking for Loki's key, which made Road insist that the pirate not say such things so casually, along with the assumption that Ya definitely wouldn't know. To that, Luffy waved his question away and told the old man to forget about it, although it's already way too late. Hearing that, Ya's smile widened. Apparently, he loves troublemakers, which is an outlook that Nami told to keep to himself. But according to him, secrets are meant to be shared. But she wasn't having it. Ya turned to Luffy and asked if he knows what sort of man Loki is, and if the worst should happen, what he'll do in response. Luffy made it clear that he'll just give the guy a beating and lock him back up. Ya expressed that in the past, Shanks was the one to catch the rampaging giant. He was unstoppable. He posed the question of what sort of power Loki has, along with the potential damage that his release might cause. But Luffy and Zoro were already walking away before he could finish. They decided to keep looking for the key since the old man talks way too much. Nami was the only one who seemed to want to hear the old man's warning. Road begged the retired pirate to forgive their behavior, but Ya just smiled. He remembered his own overzealous captain complaining about his warnings. In such cases, Roger would challenge him to a fight. Meanwhile, his friend just wanted him to consider the risks. In the present, Ya called out to Road and told him to push the throne over. Back at the party, Usopp was being told about a member of the Pirate King's crew. That aside from Roger, there were two especially strong pirates. Usopp already knows about Rayleigh, so he was curious about the other. Oimo mentioned how one time Roger was with the guy while being treated in a hospital deep in the mountains, but the place ended up being surrounded by enemy pirates. So the man walked out by his lonesome with an axe in each hand, and with just that, he managed to massacre hundreds of pirates. Usopp's jaw was already reaching for the floor, but even more than that, the mountain was totally devastated. There wasn't a single tree left standing. Thanks to that, he became known as the Mountain Eater. As a veteran pirate himself, Jinbei was quite familiar with the tale. The man was also known as the left hand of the Pirate King. He was able to stand side by side with Rayleigh. Back at the castle, Ya told them about a secret treasure chamber behind the throne, which of course was really exciting for Nami. Road asked Ya how he knows about the place. The old man responded that exploring is a hobby of his. Their excitement going in was high, but all they ended up seeing was a room full of empty treasure chests. Ya laughed about how it totally was a treasure room in the past. Nami was fuming, but he told her to forgive him. As an abandoned castle, it was sure to be the target of many thieves. However, something important still remained. He leapt down and brought their attention to the key, which is something that not even thieves would want. Luffy was overjoyed to have found it. Ya began removing his travelware. He expressed that not even villains would seek the liberation of Loki, so he asked Luffy again if he truly wants to steal the key. Now the young captain was surprised. Just like how Usopp was surprised to learn that the legendary pirate they were discussing is also here on Elbaph, and he's been here for more than 20 years. Oimo and Kashi were really hyping it up now, as of course, holding the massive key in his grasp, Scopper Gaban, the left hand of the Pirate King, challenged Luffy to try and steal it from him. This is sure to be fun. Luffy tried to skip all the dialogue, but ended up with a boss fight. Gaban made his first appearance in the story with chapter 19, which was before I was even born. And finally, he's hit the main stage. Seeing as he was featured on the cover page of chapter 631 with Baboon, I hope he's able to have a fun conversation with Brook. The two of them are old men after all, and technically, I guess they both slept with big women. Brook walked away with copies of the Road Poneglyph, and Gaban gained a happy family, which is pretty much just as rare in this series. The only other cases being Capone, Charlotte and their baby, as well as Mr. 9, Miss Monday, and their baby. Over 1,000 chapters and only 3 happy homes is kinda crazy. But that's one more silhouette down. Now apparently this guy's name is more like Gaban, hence the name Ya, so forgive me for the pronunciation. Like how we struggled to get the full chapter video out for the last one. Apologies. That whole mural thing got me so excited that I ended up screwing things up on that front, so please forgive me. But also let me know what you think about Old Man Sanji with axes over here, and how you think his fight against Luffy will go. As always, I'm Slice of Otaku. Thank you all so much for watching and have an awesome day. I love you.